I remember the day the world shifted. It was not a sudden tremor, but a slow, insidious slide, one that began with a laugh and ended in silence, a profound and heavy quiet that still echoes in my ears. David and I, we had built a life together, a fortress of shared dreams and comfortable routines. 10 years of waking up next to the same person, knowing their habits, their quirks, their every sigh. A love that felt solid, dependable, like an ancient oak tree firmly rooted. It was not passionate in the fiery way of new romance anymore, but it was deep, a warm blanket on a cold night, a constant presence that I never questioned its existence. I thought I knew what forever meant. I thought I was content. I truly believed. We had everything we needed, a small house, a garden, 2 cats, Sunday morning pancakes, and evening walks hand in hand. Our conversations flowed easily, covering everything and nothing. The future stretched out before us, a predictable path that I had consciously chosen and cherished, or so I told myself then Liam's arrival. It was subtle at first. He joined our marketing team, a new face in a sea of familiar ones. His smile was easy, his eyes kind. He had a way of looking at you, a genuine curiosity that made you feel seen, in a way I had not felt in years. Not since the early days with David. Not since the comfort had settled in and replaced that intense focus. Liam's energy was infectious. He talked about adventure, about travel, about daring to dream bigger than the life you were currently living. Things I had long since packed away in a dusty box, in my mind labeled impractical and irresponsible. We started talking at work during coffee breaks, during lunch, sometimes after hours when everyone else had left. It was never anything explicit, just innocent conversations about projects, about life, about books we both loved, about movies that made us think. His insights were fresh, his perspective invigorating. I found myself looking forward to seeing him each day. A lightness in my step, a flicker of something. Knew something exciting? The texts started innocently enough first. About work, then about random thoughts, funny memes, recommendations for music or podcasts. A slow trickle that grew into a steady stream. I would find myself checking my phone, anticipating his messages. A secret thrill that made my heart flutter. A tiny bird trapped in my ribcage. David would be beside me, watching television or reading a book, and I would be smiling down at my phone, my thumb flying across the keyboard. A conversation happening in a hidden world, a world he knew nothing about. The guilt was a tiny spark, then a small ember, then a slow burning fire in my stomach. It twisted and turned, a knot of unease. But the dopamine rush, the excitement, the feeling of being desired, of being truly heard, it was a powerful intoxicant. It dulled the guilt, made it seem like a small price to pay for this new surge of vitality. Liam's attention was a drug, and I was quickly becoming addicted. He listened to my fears, my frustrations, my unspoken desires. Things I had stopped sharing with David because I felt David would not understand, or worse, would dismiss them. Liam's understanding felt like a balm, a gentle hand on a wound. I did not even realize I had. The line became blurry, almost imperceptible. At first, one evening after a particularly intense work session, everyone else had left the office. It was just us two. We were talking about a dream of his, a small coffee shop he wanted to open by the sea, a life of simplicity and passion. I felt a pull, a powerful magnetic force drawing me closer. He reached out and touched my hand, a light brush of his fingers against mine, a spark that ignited something deep within me, a hunger I had buried long ago. The air crackled with unspoken tension. A silent understanding passed between us. Then he leaned in, his eyes searching mine, asking a question without words, and I did not pull away. His lips were soft, then urgent. A stolen kiss. In the quiet of a deserted office building. It tasted of forbidden fruit, reckless abandon of a desperate need to feel alive, to feel something new, exhilarating, terrifying. The immediate aftermath was a rush of shame, a cold wave of realization. What had I done? What was I doing? My mind screamed 1,000 warnings, but my body, my heart, was already entangled in this dangerous dance. The double life began a tangled web of deceit and secrecy. It was exhausting, keeping track of the lies, the alibis, the manufactured stories for David. Every phone call, every text, every late return home became a potential landmine, a risk of exposure, a moment of reckoning. I perfected the art of deception, a casual shrug, a feigned tiredness, a quick change of topic. If David asked too many questions, my heart would pound whenever my phone buzzed. I became a master of evasiveness, a stranger to my own truth. The thrill of the affair was still there, a potent rush of adrenaline, but it was now laced with an unbearable anxiety, a constant fear of discovery. I loved David. I truly did, a different kind of love, perhaps a comfortable, familiar love, but love nonetheless, and the thought of hurting him, of shattering his trust, of destroying everything we had built together. It was a heavy burden, a crushing weight on my soul. Yet I could not stop. I felt like I was caught in a current pulling me further and further away from the shore of my old life, a helpless swimmer swept out to sea. My relationship with David suffered predictably and profoundly. I became distant, emotionally unavailable, physically withdrawn. He noticed, of course, he is not blind. He would ask if something was wrong, if I was okay, if I was happy. I would always offer a vague answer, a dismissive wave of my hand, a hollow smile saying, I was just stressed with work or tired from the long hours. He deserved better. He deserved honesty. He deserved my full attention, my genuine affection. But I could not give it to him. Not when my mind was constantly elsewhere, replaying moments with Liam, imagining future encounters, rehearsing my lies. My thoughts were a jumbled mess, a battlefield of guilt, desire, and regret. Our conversations grew shorter, our silences longer. The comfortable warmth that once filled our home was slowly being replaced by a chilling void, a sense of unspoken tension that hung heavy in the air between us, like an invisible fog. I missed the old David. I missed the old me, the person who was honest, direct, and uncomplicated. But I felt like I had lost her somewhere along this treacherous path. A path paved with stolen kisses and whispered promises. The affair was no longer a source of excitement. It was a source of immense pain, a corrosive acid eating away at my conscience, at my self-respect. Every moment of joy with Liam was paid for with 10 moments of crushing guilt. With David, I felt a prisoner of my own choices, trapped in a cage of my own making. The secrecy had become a suffocating blanket, a weight that made it hard to breathe. I started to see Liam differently, too. The initial thrill had faded, revealing a relationship built on stolen moments and fractured truths. It was not sustainable. It was not real. It was a fantasy, a temporary escape from a reality. I was too afraid to face the truth of my own unhappiness, my own needs. David deserved to know. He deserved the truth, no matter how ugly, how painful it would be to deliver it to him. The thought of his face when he found out, the look of betrayal in his eyes. It haunted my sleep. It poisoned my waking hours. I could not keep living this lie, this half-life, this existence of constant performance. My soul felt weary, my spirit broken. I yearned for peace, for honesty, for a moment of genuine connection again, even if that connection meant immense pain for everyone involved. So here I am, sitting at our kitchen table, the same table where David and I shared countless meals, countless dreams, the silence, deafening the air thick with unspoken words. My phone lies beside me, a silent witness to my betrayal, to my cowardice. I have not told him yet, but the words are forming on my tongue, a bitter, metallic taste of confession. A confession that will shatter his world, our world. A confession that will unleash a storm of pain and anger and sorrow. And I deserve every single drop of it. I traded a lifetime of steady love for a fleeting moment of selfish desire. I sacrificed trust for excitement, security for novelty. I tore down a beautiful home built with care and patience, with a single careless act, an act born of my own insecurities, my own unmet needs, my own inability to communicate my own yearning for something I could not name or understand. The future is a blank page now, no longer predictable, no longer certain, just a terrifying unknown. But one thing is clear, the person I was before this, before Liam, before the lies, she is gone. And I do not know if I will ever find my way back to her, to myself, to any semblance of peace. This is the price of betrayal, the heavy, inescapable cost of choosing fleeting passion over unwavering love. A permanent scar on my soul, a lesson learned in the most devastating way possible.